there, young man. Do you like tags? Do you like your sister? Are you lonely? If so, then hello and welcome back to a very special Christmas episode of Binging Last Season, where this year, it's all about the family. Depending on where you're at in life, Christmas can be a very lovely or very lonely time of year. So I'm releasing this week's episode of Binging Last Season early, so at the very least, you can spend this holiday with some freak on the internet talking about the purest form of love between siblings. It's incest. We're talking about incest. Because no matter what kind of trouble you're facing with your family this Christmas, at the very least you can rest assured that you're not trying to fuck them. You're not trying to fuck him, right? You know what? Let's just get into it. The first anime that I watched this week that we're going to talk about is a show called Gimai Seikatsu, or Days with My Stepsister. And holy shit, this was bad. I was talking with my buddy Chance about how much I hated this anime, and he said, hey, you know what, Celery? Maybe you just don't like slow burns. But frankly, the only burn in this anime was from the ulcer forming in my stomach as I realized what they considered to be a story. Because while they parade the concept of a budding romance between two brand new, nearly adult step siblings as being significantly more controversial than it actually is, their idea of a plot to fill out the rest of the runtime is about as dry as the turkey at a white Thanksgiving. The majority of any given episode is dialogue, and that could be a good thing if the dialogue was witty or interesting or fun to listen to. But instead they perform what is, in my opinion, the greatest crime you can commit in any given piece of media. I can hear the writers talking through the characters, and I fucking hate that. The dialogue between the two lead characters in any given scene sounds like a philosopher and a psychologist having a meta-ethical debate, and it stays like that the entire time. And these two people are supposed to be in high school, mind you. The conversations they have with other people sound somewhat normal, but when it comes to these two, it's just the writers having a chat about what does it all mean, man, and let's talk about this topic in detail in a way that a high school student never would. At the very least, I hated the characters in Makain because they acted like high schoolers, but this is just bad writing. It's possible to deliver unrealistic and introspective dialogue from characters in a way that's fun. If you want an example of that, go watch the Monogatari series. But unfortunately here, it's just dryly delivered and so unbelievably boring and unbelievable. And even if I could get past that personal pet peeve, the things that they're saying aren't that deep. They're not that special. It's not that interesting. They'll go back and forth on whether or not a character acts a certain way and make them act in a way that doesn't really stay true to their character at all, just to do the rug pull at the end and say, gotcha, they weren't actually like that to begin with. But you didn't get me. All you got me was pissed off. And you know me, I don't like going into spoilers. I think if you want to go watch something this pretentious, then you definitely should. All I'll say about the last episode is what a fucking wet blanket of an ending. I mean, really not committing in any significant direction. You really just wasted 4 hours of my time and said, but it was deep, wasn't it? No, you're not special. Sorry, this is still a fresh wound for me. I just finished a show last night, and as you can tell, I'm still annoyed. But the last time I ragged on a show for 3 minutes and gave it a decent score, somebody in the comments was very confused. So I should say there are upsides. I do understand that some people would be interested in this type of thing, even though I don't think it's really that deep. Some people will think it's that deep, and they will absolutely love it. And visually, it does look really nice. That's why I wanted to give it more credit than I did, but for me personally, by episode 4, when I realized it wasn't going anywhere, I was getting pretty annoyed, and with a lackluster final episode, I am really annoyed right now. But you know, some people will like this, some people, just not me. And this is also the first time that I've reviewed an anime on Binging Last Season that I wanted to give a score below mediocrity solely because it pissed me off. I recognize that this anime meets a certain standard, and by all means, it should be above a 5 or a 6, but the story made me so angry that I wanted to drop it to like a 4. But in the interest of fairness, I gave this anime a 6 out of 10. I believe it's passable, but I believe there are significant plot holes. I believe that it is nowhere near as clever as it makes itself out to be, and I think that that sloppy writing makes it deserve a 6 when really nothing else happens, and if you do watch this and you feel the same way that I do, you truly will feel like they wasted 4 hours of your time. But enough of the bad vibes, I am here to spread holiday cheer. So let's talk about Studio Doga Kobo for a second. You know, I didn't really take note of this studio until I realized that the same people who made Oshinoko made Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. So I looked into their past a little bit, and I actually love most of the things that they make, and so do a lot of people. These are the same guys who made Himoto Umaru-chan. I know that divided the community, but I enjoyed it. Fuck you. They also made New Game. They made Helpful Fox Senko-san, which I've talked about on this channel a few times. They made Monthly Shoujo Nozaki-kun, and they also made How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift. I kind of saved the weakest one for last there. Get off my back, okay? But in a summer that seemed like a dry spell for anime, Studio Doga Kobo absolutely dominated with the two most popular series from the summer, Oshinoko Season 2 and the one we're talking about right now, Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. Or a title I'm not saying in Japanese. Do you not get it yet? I can only do the small ones. That is a direct quote from my ex-girlfriend, and I appreciate her very much. Alya is the newest IP from a studio that spends half of their budget on drawing the eyes, and it only asks you one thing. Do you like girls? I have rarely seen such a tight-knit race for best girl, and honestly, it could be anyone. I mean, it's Alya, and if you think otherwise, you're wrong, but you're wrong in a way that's acceptable. Studio Doga Kobo just know what they're doing at this point. This is the latest in a long line of adaptations that boil down to Best Girl the Anime. And you might think that's an issue for me. You might go, Celery, you know, you're a renowned internet misogynist. How could you enjoy something like this? Hey, listen to me, okay? We're anime fans. We like Best Girl the Anime. It's just what we do. We enjoy this despite the fact that maybe we shouldn't. But Alya actually has a lot of high points that have nothing to do with whether or not you... Well, that's not true. Okay, look. You like girls, don't you? We all like girls. Even girls like girls, right? But I do give Alya props for switching pretty seamlessly between the moments of romance and cuteness between the characters and the main plotline driving the rest of the show. And I think the plotline that they have is relatively interesting. You know, I'm not in high school anymore. I don't really care about the goings-on in high school and, you know, student bodies and whatnot, but they make it interesting. Even though this is a topic that I don't care about, they find a way to make it interesting, and that's what makes a good anime. If there's anything I don't like about it, ironically, it's the main selling point. The scenes where she sort of speaks in Russian, the vast majority of them, there are some of them that I think are okay, but a lot of them feel really awkward. It feels like I'm watching an English dub, and there is a reason that I don't watch English dubs. I don't like the voice line delivery, and I think maybe, you know, either I don't get it and it just sounds off to me because I'm not familiar with Russian at all, or it just doesn't seem natural and maybe they would have done better going with a natural Russian speaker. I don't know if they had one. I don't know anything. I'm a stupid little man on the internet. I'm not even a man. I'm a vegetable. Why are you watching me? But yeah, nothing else really bothered me. Not even the incest angle. Oh, wait, you forgot that we had a theme for this episode, didn't you? There is an incest angle in this anime. I am not going to tell you where it comes from, but if you start watching it, you might figure it out pretty quickly. And, you know, she could win Best Girl. I wouldn't even care. Go the Orimo route. Whatever, bro. Alya is just a polished and well-rounded romance anime that I enjoyed, and it set up pretty well for its follow-up season. And I didn't get bored of it once from start to finish, so I gave it a 9 out of 10. I think it really deserves it. And you might go, you know, Celery, 9 is pretty high. I mean, you think this was as good as Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night? And honestly, Jellyfish fell off at the end. Alya didn't. So whether you're spending these holidays with your stepsister or talking to your local Russian introvert or even listening to a vegetable ramble about anime on the internet, I hope you had a good one. I hope these holidays treated you well because at the end of the day, we all know what the holidays are really about. They're about catching up with all the anime that you missed from last season, and don't worry, if you need a guide to do that, there is a playlist on my channel. It's called Binging Last Season Summer. It might be called that, actually. It might be called something else. I can't remember what I named it, but you should go watch that. If you need to figure out what you're going to watch, if you need to figure out how to spend your time the most effectively on this holiday season with your beloved time off, and I know I respect your time off. I do. That's why I made a convenient playlist on my channel for you to check out so you can figure out what you should spend your time watching, so you don't accidentally waste 4 hours of your life watching Days with My Stepsister. I'm here for you, and that's what matters. I'm here for you to make the right decisions about anime. So watch every video on my channel from start to finish, the oldest to the newest. You know you want to.